you need something?
You mind if I ask you a few questions?
Not at all.
There's something else I'd like to talk about.
Ask.
Have a few minutes to talk?
Very well. I had been recording a message for Kolyat.
How are things going with him?
It is difficult. All things worth keeping are. I never explained. I suppose the story of my wife's death took you by surprise.
I figured you'd explain to me when you were ready.
I appreciate your patience. I kept my work clear of our home life. I assumed that would be enough to protect Erica. That memory I mentioned before. Laser gun trembles on the target's skull. The smell of spice on a spring wind. Sunset eyes defiant in scope. That was Erica. That was how I met her. She saw my targeting laser as she walked by and threw herself in the way.
I guess she impressed you.
She woke me up. Her body trembles. Not fear. Indignation. Her mouth moves. How dare you? You and I trained to sacrifice ourselves to save others. How often does a civilian step in the way of a bullet to protect someone they've never met? I thought she was the goddess Hirashu. She met my eyes through the scope, and my purpose faltered.
So how'd she go from blocking your shot to having your children?
I had to meet her. The memory possessed and endowed me. I fell on my knees before her, begged her pardon. She introduced me to the world beyond my work. Eventually, she forgave me. Later, she loved me.
When you talked to Kolyat, you said she died.
I let myself become complacent. I thought Erica and Kolyat were safe. I stayed away too long, and my enemies came for her.
Who came for her?
Batarians, a slaver ring that was preying on Hanar outer colonies. I'd killed their leaders. They paid the Shadow Broker to find out who I was. But they were afraid of me, so they went after her.
You told Kolyat that you hunted her killers down.
Erica woke me up. When she passed, I returned to my battle sleep. My body hunted her killers, murdered them. I was taught to grant death quickly, cleanly, to minimize suffering. Them, I let them linger.
I don't blame you. They killed innocents to get to you.
For you and me, death is business. For people like them, it is sport. I haven't spoken about my wife, and I don't think I ever have. I didn't have anyone left to tell it to.
Maybe I haven't been as upfront as I should be. I'm here for you, Thane. Whatever you need.
You are very kind. Thank you for listening, Siha.
I think my translator just glitched. What did you call me?
Siha. Someday I'll tell you what it means. Do you need something?
Have a few minutes to talk?
Very well.
How are things going with
It is
him?
difficult. I never explained. I suppose
I figured
the story,
you'd explain
I appreciate.
to me.
I kept my... That laser gun trembles on the... That was Erica. That was how I met.
guess she impressed you.
Her body trembles. You and I thought she was the goddess Hirashu.
So how'd she go from blocking?
I fell. She introduced me to the world beyond my work. Eventually,
When you talked to
I let
Kolyat-
myself become complacent.
Who came for her?
Batarian. They paid the Shadow Broker to find out who I was.
You told Kolyat
Erica,
that you hunted.
I was taught to grant death quickly, cleanly.
I don't blame you.
For you and me, death is business. I haven't spoken about my wife, and I don't think I ever have. I didn't have anyone left to tell it to.
You're talking to your son again. That's huge. Don't lose sight of that by dwelling on should-have-beens.
You are correct, of course. Thank you for listening, Siha.
I think my translator just glitched. What did you call me?
Siha. Someday I'll tell you what it means.